following show is a paid program.
Hey family, how you doing today? I am so excited about the lady we have in the building. We have Miss Alexis Fly Jones, TV producer, founder of Dear Black Son, star of Ready to Love Season 4, and sorority. Her sorority is Delta Sigma Theta.
That's right, baby. Hi, Kim.
How you doing?
It is an honor and privilege to be with you here today.
Oh my God.
Wow, we go way back.
We do. We go way back. I've got to tell everybody thank you, first of all, for all that you've done for me. So people don't know this. I started in radio, didn't know what I was doing 2.5 years ago, and I saw these two ladies, Nakia Cooper and Alexis Fly Jones, and they said, hey, you know what? We're part of an organization of Houston Association of Black Journalists. I said, oh, really? She said, you know, you're a journalist. That's what Alexis said. I'm thinking, I don't know. I'm just in the radio show.
Not just radio. You're more than radio, for sure.
I didn't know what I was doing. But anyway, they said, let us talk to you. Let us tell you what you're supposed to be doing and things like that. Thank God for you all. Had it not been for you all, I wouldn't be here.
Oh, my gosh. Look, where's my tissue? You're going to make me cry. Like, seriously.
Yeah. But thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for pulling me aside and saying that TV producer of the Deborah Duncan show took me under her wing and said, this is what you should be doing. These are the things that you hone in on and things like that. Thank you.
You know what, Cam? It's really crazy. You never know how your life is influencing somebody else.
Right.
You know, you just do what was naturally put inside of you with God. And my thing is, I used to be known as the plug, and it's in me just to be able to be a resource to people, to help them. I think when I was a publicist way before I became a producer, my job was to help people reach their dreams and their goals. So that's just in me to do. It naturally comes out when somebody calls me and says, hey, Alexis, do you have a contact for this? Or how can I do this or that, or if I have a student or whatever it is. That's what I was born to do, is to share the knowledge. Why would I keep it? You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of times people are fearful of sharing knowledge because they're afraid that somebody is going to rise above them.
Right.
And I think I've been grateful to not have that type of attitude, because that's actually going to keep you down when you're not able to help somebody else. So to hear you say that, I'm glad, because look, we have the Cam Hill show. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You are an amazing talk show host, and I'm privileged, as I said before, to be here, sitting here with you talking.
Thank you so much. And you even embarked on something that I want to ask you. First of all, how did you actually get into media? Let's talk about the backstory of who you are.
That's a very good question. Starting off, I first like to say I tell this story a lot when I'm out speaking. When I was a little girl getting off the bus in middle school, I used to go straight home and I would watch the Deborah Duncan show at the time, which was on Channel 13, and right after that, Oprah would come on. It is so crazy now that I've grown up that I've actually worked with Deborah Duncan as well as now on the OWN network. It blows my mind, but it shows that when it's something that you really want to do, even at a young age, because I imagine myself being in media, I didn't know what part of media I would be in, to see that can actually manifest later on in your life. So I went to the high school for performing and visual arts. I was a visual artist there, so that means I could draw. I haven't done it in a while. I could paint, do sculptures, and that's where that creativity flourished and came from. From there, I would embark on a journey to matriculate at Clark Atlanta University. Shout out to all the HBCUs in the land. And I went down to the art department. I was like, yo, I don't think I want to do this because I don't think I'm making money. I didn't want to be a starving artist, right? So what's the second thing that I like to do? Run my mouth. So I went down to the mass media arts department. And that's where I majored in mass media arts with a concentration in PR. So I took my journey working with Matthew Knowles for 2 summers and really learned how to hone in on media, on branding, on marketing, and all those things. And I was pitching, actually working with a huge client here in Houston, pitching to Great Day Houston, and at the time they were looking for an AP, associate producer. Next thing I know, I received a call, and I ended up at a Great Day Houston for 8 years as a producer. So the great part about my testimony is that I didn't have TV experience going into Great Day. Did not. but I knew I had the skill set. You know, I knew how to pitch a story, how to tell a story. And they recognized that. And so when the opportunity came, I started off warming up audiences in the studio. We had a live studio audience.
Yeah.
That's where I kind of found out I had a little humor and I could make people laugh.
Right.
Didn't know I could do that,
Right.
you know. And I learned on the job. So it's really possible for you to really have a dream, to write that dream down. Of course, you know, the Bible tells you write the vision, make it plain, you know, but you also have to put the work towards it. And I put the work towards it, and here I am today. Now I have also executive produced my own first film, which is Dear Black Son, which we'll get into. So yeah, that was pretty much my journey, my creativity starting, you know, in high school. And then by the time I got to college and got out, you know, people opening doors for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love the part of never give up, too.
Ooh, don't give up. There's so many times that I could have given up, that I wanted to give up. Shoot, even on the journey, Ready to Love, I had moments I wanted to eliminate myself, you know, but it's that drive that I have in me. I've always been known as a go-getter. And so the moments that I feel low or I'm like, man, I don't want to do this, then God will always send what I send, God kisses. Well, he'll remind me, he'll send somebody like, nope. Keep going, keep pushing, and, you know, remind yourself to stay focused on the goal, on the prize, on the big picture.
Right.
And that's what keeps me going.
The motivation that you have, and you motivate women all the time.
Yeah.
I've seen you over the years that we've been, you know, friends, and I've seen you go out to different places, speaking to women, speaking to them about not only never giving up, motivation, you know, pushing through and things like that. And also being your best self.
Yes. Being your best self and being your authentic self.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, what I learned, even with being on the show. I may not be for everybody, but I'm for somebody.
Right.
There's people that I'm called to that can watch my journey. They can learn life lessons from it. What to do, what not to do. Allowing people. I say this, when I was doing ministry, I say there's still a form of ministry in me, but I can say that because I'm not necessarily doing it in the church house, as to say, but I always say to people that transparency saves. And I think because we're not always honest or genuine, or we wear a mask because we're fearful of what people are going to think or say, we don't always tell our truth. And telling your truth, it helps somebody else get through whatever they're going through. You're never going through something just for yourself.
Wow.
It's always your testimony is to bless somebody, and when they come up to you, you can walk them through so that they don't give up on their journey or they don't give up on life. And so I think God has also planted that in me to be able to empower not just women but men too. I had to accept that, you know, being on this journey. When I doing what the fans like to call my elimination speech, one of the things that I talked about was self-love, you know, and seeing myself the way that God sees me. And I was talking about value and worth. And, you know, I think that really my journey on Ready to Love really was for that one line. I had so many women DM me saying, Alexis, I cried my eyeballs out on that scene, that I could hear your heart. I've been there. I understand that. That blessed me. I play this over and over again. And that right there, I was like, oh, okay, because see, I thought I was coming for one, but I believe that God sent me here for many. I'm not here for everybody, but there's this, you know, there is a specific amount of people that I'm here that I need to reach, that hopefully I help pull them out of a dark pit or a dark place. And that's one of the things I learned on this journey. I got to see myself on a big screen.
Exactly. And let's talk about that. Let's talk to women about self-love.
Yeah, man.
Self-love.
Yes.
Because many times, if you think about it, when women, many women, okay, once they get married, they become the wife, they become the mom, they become whomever, but they lose themselves.
You lose yourself. You know why? Because you're pouring all of your oil out on everything else around you, and you forget to fill your own cup up. Right. You know, and so because we're taught to always sacrifice, but not to make sure that we're okay. Here's the thing. What do they always tell you? Because we got to talk about flying and being on a flight. When you're on the airplane, if there's turbulence or the plane is getting ready to go down, when the oxygen drops, you're supposed to put the oxygen on you first. Then you help your child or the person sitting next to you. I think a lot of times, because of the way that we're taught, when the oxygen drops, we want to immediately first get the person, and you don't take care of yourself, you know? So how are you going to help anybody else when you don't first take care of yourself and first love yourself?
Yeah.
We have to do better. And I think even moving forward with how we raise our children and how when we're speaking to people, empowering them, that's something that we need to retrain ourselves in our brains. You know, I think it's a paradigm shift. Like, hey, it's okay. You're not being selfish when you love yourself first, you know, because when you love yourself first you give the best of yourself to everybody else around you.
Right. And I'm glad you said that. So when women go out and they take care of themselves, hey, today I've got to get my nails done.
Yes.
I've got to get my feet done. I've got to do my hair. I've got to do whatever. We need women to do that.
We need women to do that. I actually, once a month, I choose something. I don't care if I'm spending a whole bunch or if I'm spending a little, whatever it is, it's something that I'm as a mother, and especially a single mother, I'm going to do for myself. I know one year I got me I got massages for like a whole year. That was my thing. No matter what, I was getting a massage to help me, decompress from things in life. And I did it again this year. I think you should pick something as a woman that's a self-care thing that you want to do for you, that you can get away, yes, from the husband, get away from the children, something that says, hey, I need my peace of mind today, and don't feel guilty about that.
Wow.
We all need that so that we can continue to move forward in purpose. You always need to rest. Hey, God rested on the seventh day, so you need at least one day. You know what I'm saying? To yourself.
He did.
That's a requirement for you to be successful.
Absolutely. Let's talk about some of the questions that women need to start asking men in a dating thing. And well, first of all, let's go back.
Let me drink on that.
Exactly. Let's go back. Dating and exclusive commitment.
Oh, wow.
Are two different things.
They're two different things. and I want to be clear with Ready to Love.
Okay.
This was a dating show where we were required, or it was a competition, as to say, to date multiple people at one time. The end goal was to walk out in an exclusive or committed relationship, which a lot of people you'll find out that wasn't necessarily the case. But it's definitely different. Dating to me is when you're gaining knowledge, you're doing research, you're gaining data on this person, and it's like, do I want to do this? Do I not want to do this? What am I going to tolerate? What am I going to accept? And you see me not accepting a few things. I was very assertive. Some people like to say aggressive. I would disagree with that because I wasn't taking anything thrown in anybody's face, not that kind of thing. But I knew what I wanted going in, Kim.
Right.
And so I had been married before, not saying that I got that right, what I'm saying? But this was a different territory because I hadn't dated a lot of men at one time.
Right.
So that was the challenge for me. Usually, when I like somebody, I hone in on that person.
Right.
And the producers was like, Alexis, if you don't talk to all of these men and get out of your comfort zone, you're out.
Right.
And I'm like, I took a leap of faith to be here. I'm going to go hard in the paint, as you hear me say. That's what that was referring to, is like really put my whole self in this, my emotions, my opinions, my thoughts, be honest and as real as I can. So I was assertive because my thing is the title of the show was Ready to Love, Not Ready to Play. So what are your intent? What is your intent?
Yeah.
I always ask, yes, where do I stand? I asked it, yes, because I was asked to ask it, but I also wanted to know, where am I at this point in the game? Because if you're not real about how you feel about me, then I need to reconsider what it is that I want to do.
Absolutely.
Do I continue to pursue along with you, or do I make the decision to move forward?
Right. Yeah. And I think as women and men, we get that part.
Right. We get that part. So I think
we get that part incorrect sometimes because
that's
we many times we don't understand dating. Then you could be dating other people.
Yeah, you can be dating other people. And I think you should just be honest and upfront, with it. But I think even during this process, we see the episodes when you guys see them.
Right.
So it's easy for the viewers to sit back and be like, Alexis or whomever, you don't see that he doesn't like you here, or you don't see this and that. No, because I only know the journey I walked with that person. I didn't see what was going on with his other dates. I have no idea until I'm watching it with you, right? And so then you're like, oh, okay. Because you can only go by what was said to you, what was presented to you, whether it's the representative or the real deal, to be determined. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I went based off on with my experiences with both of the men that I was matched with.
Absolutely, absolutely. And looking at this, and I'm glad we're going with this, what should men know about women? We have different language.
Yeah, we
do.
We
talk we think differently. Yeah. Okay? Women think differently. Yeah. We're not as emotional sometimes.
Right.
Where a woman says, you didn't see that, and starts crying about it, and we're thinking, what happened?
What happened? Why are you crying? I think one of the first things, and this is actually what I talked with the guys on the show, is I would ask them, and I think that they should ask a woman, identify what the love language is.
Right.
For me, it wasn't about being pick me, as I've seen some of the messages that people say. It was, I know my love language is time.
Right.
And yeah, time equals to attention. That's a priority for me. It's something that I feel like I haven't had past and that was sacrificed. And the thing about it is, identify what that person's love language is and don't give them what your love language is, because I don't receive that. So if I need time and attention, I need to get that from you,
right?
Because that equals love to me. Not you buying me gifts,
right.
You know, not helps of service, even though I do like helps of service. You know, if you think about it before I have to ask about it, praise the Lord, you know. But, you know, I think that's a conversation of being able to identify what makes that person feel loved or
right.
liked or whatever, or wanted or whatever, and you should want and desire, if you really care for that person, to feel that for them. That's
absolutely.
Love. It's sacrificing something that you would normally do for them. Like, say, for instance, you may not like to go to the movies, but your girlfriend likes to go to the movies. Well, I think you should take her to the movies because that's what she likes to do.
Right.
That's showing love. It's doing something that's selfless,
right.
For somebody else.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Communication.
Is key. Communication and honesty.
Right. Communication and honesty.
Yeah.
Let's talk to people about that.
Yeah. I think when it comes to the honesty part, you know, I don't think you have to put everything on the table up front. I think the closer that you get to being serious with that person, you know, then you begin to, you know, share more things.
You do need to say, we need to say, be honest.
But
and
you
say,
need to be.
I want Alexis and Jane.
Thank
too.
you.
You know what I'm saying? I want them both.
I want both. Because I think that was the thing probably with me and AJ is throughout our dating, and let me preference this, is what people don't understand is that a lot of people didn't get to see our relationship. It was
right.
focused on Kyra and him most of the time. That was the narrative that got played. We went on 8 to 9 dates. We went on the most dates, I can't say than anybody, but with each other. And so we spent a lot of time on camera and off camera, but people didn't get to see that. And so, you know, I think that when it comes to AJ, I spend a lot of time trying to figure out or ask, like, where are we going with this? Because one day it's like, I'm feeling you. You heard him say, I'm in the pursuit of you. And then the next day, you're acting different with me.
Right.
And I think men do that in real life. You know, you've been talking on the phone for a week and all of a sudden he disappears. And you're trying to figure out, well, what happened? Like, did it do something? Why are we not communicating? And it may be because somebody else is in the picture. But I think that we should be grown enough to say, hey, I'm dating you. I like you a lot, but I also like this person. But I also, you know, took into consideration that there were different things that I think we brought to the table for AJ that if it was in one person, it would have been the perfect person for him, you know? And so it had to come down to him making the decision on what works best for my life. I have a child. The other individual doesn't have a child. Do I want to take on that responsibility? You know, and me as a mother, you either take me and my baby, the whole package, or you don't take me at all.
Absolutely.
You know, so these were the things that, you know, he needed to identify. I had made my decision and my choice because I think those were things that we could work out and work, you know, on together. Right. But the honesty piece up front, just being very clear and the not having that wishy-washy cycle, I would have appreciated not having that. But I think that's what people do in real life. They don't want to hurt your feelings,
they don't.
right?
Right.
That's not, and I know that people were not on this show to hurt people, but you have to figure out, because it's a competition, how do I be honest and open and just be real about what I want to do and not lead people on?
Absolutely. Let's do this. We'll be right back on the Cam Hill Show.
To the Cam Hill Show after these messages.
Move up at Ron Carter Cadillac. Drive the new 2021 Cadillac XT4 Luxury Collection for only $319 a month. The new 2021 Cadillac XT5 Luxury Collection for only $399 a month. Both for 39 months lease with just $1 down. Or purchase either and enjoy 1.9% APR for 60 months plus bonus cash. Gulf Freeway, just 2 minutes south of the Beltway.
Shop smarter when you shop Ron Carter. RonCarterCadillac.com.
My prenatal promise is to make sure my baby is safe and healthy because I know it is possible to acquire syphilis, HIV, or other STDs without knowing it. Getting tested is my very first chance to protect my baby. Doctors are required to give expectant mothers 3 separate tests for syphilis. If you're pregnant, ask your doctor if you're being tested properly for syphilis and other STDs. Congenital syphilis can lead to a miscarriage, stillbirth, or an infant death. Don't risk your baby's health. To find out more, visit myprenatalpromise.com.
Have you heard about Hero Go TV offering free TV?
And now back to the Cam Hill Show.
Hey, family, we are back with Miss Alexis Fly Jones. Fly, first of all, where did that come from, the name Fly?
Yes, I like to always say I did not self-proclaim myself Alexis Fly, guys. That originated from attending college. One thing about HBCU, when you walk the strip that we had called the Promenade at Clark Atlanta University, it was a fashion show. At 8 a.m., we were looking good going to class. And so because we're in that type of culture, you know, my friends, based off of whatever I would have on, like, oh, girl, you fly. And it just became a nickname for me, Alexis Fly. And then as I progressed, became an adult, was in ministry, it became an empowerment message for women to fly to the next level, fly high, you know, fly with all faith and no fear. And coming off of this journey, fly now means first love yourself.
Wow, I love that.
Sure.
So that one is excellent, excellent, excellent. As we're doing this, and we were just talking about the fact about what men and women should just be honest about.
Yeah.
But many times we as men don't want to say, we want to just be with you and someone else. We don't want to, because we'll lose one of you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, by being honest and upfront, right?
Or both.
Or both, because the thing is, I think men, you know, they want to have their cake and eat it too. I mean, if we go all the way back to, you know, the good Bible days, that's what y'all got to get. All the women, you know what I'm saying? All the concubines, you know, so I kind of feel like it's kind of in your DNA. And I think, you know, you need to offer that choice to that individual, to that lady, to decide if she wants to participate in that. I'm not going to participate in that. And so once I find out what the deal is, I'm like, yeah, that's a wrap. Because I know that I'm here to be a wife.
Right.
You know, whoever that man is, and I'm waiting for him to appear, you know, coming out the sky. But yeah, I just think that's, you know, what men want to do, you know, maybe not all men, but a lot of them from my experience. And I'm not here to offer that, Cam.
Absolutely. Well, you mentioned something else, a wife.
Yeah,
right?
a wife.
Some people are longtime partners.
Yeah,
right?
That's true. Yeah,
Some
absolutely.
people are longtime partners, but they didn't sign up to be that at first.
Absolutely.
They wanted to be a wife.
Yeah, they wanted to be a wife. Yeah. Right. And I think that comes down to making a decision, because it's hard to just jump out of a relationship with somebody that you really love, that you spend a lot of time with, that you sacrifice, you know. And so it's something to take into consideration. If you want to wait 5 years before you get engaged, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, totally up to you. But you just, when you go into a relationship, I think those conversations need to be had up front. Right. What are the expectations, you know, as we're growing and we're developing? Where is this headed? Right. And as you saw me asking, where are we headed? What are we doing? Or she was like, am I your number one? Right. Like, what we doing? Because we're running out of time here. And on TV, you know, it's speed dating for us, and we were on a time frame on making decisions. So it was a lot of pressure. But the thing about it is, I tell people, you have to learn people in all 4 seasons. So even coming off of this show, me dating you after, I'm looking for some more data. It's some more research, because I'm not going to just jump in all the way, you know, in a committed relationship, and I haven't seen you when you're angry. I haven't seen you when you're depressed. I need to be able to see all those things and see if I can tolerate that, if that's something I want to deal with, if it's something I can help you improve upon as a helpmate. So I tell all ladies, even men, see that individual that you're dating in all 4 seasons before you decide to make a commitment. That's just my opinion.
Let's talk about also some things that we need to talk about, the fact when we are dating. Let's some questions, finance, children, you know, I'm just a family. I mean, what are we doing here? I
mean, all the way down to asking about, this is kind of deep, you know, what are some generational things that your family deals with. We need to have those deep-rooted conversations. Maybe not on the first date, but somewhere down the line.
Mental illness is
mental
huge.
illness. Oh, it's huge. And it's actually something I dealt with in a prior relationship that I didn't ask that up front, didn't even think to ask it.
Right.
And it actually was something that was a part of my relationship that I had to figure out how to navigate, but I didn't have that piece going into it.
Right.
So definitely asking about children. Where do they stand on children? Are you
Do you
okay
want any
with
more?
do you want any more? Are you okay with being a bonus mother or a bonus father? You know, those type of things. You know, what do you feel about education? You know, it's just how you want to raise your children. There are so many questions that we need to, I mean, and let's even dig deeper. I mean, you know, and hopefully nobody takes this kind of way, but I mean, do you like men? You like women? Do you like both?
Both? Yeah.
These are
That's
questions
true.
we need to ask and be open and be honest, because you don't know, that person may be okay with whatever you decide to do, but you have to talk about it so you're not blindsided later on. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? Do you want to have sex up front? Do you want to not have sex? Are you celibate? Are you know, all of those things are things we need to talk about.
And we don't.
And we don't. Because you want it to just be what you hope it's going to be.
Right.
Right. When you have that chemistry with that person and it's the butterflies, you're just hoping that they're just going to be that it's that aha moment that this is him. You don't even want to hear bad sometimes. Am I right, Kim?
And let's talk about the fact of trying to change someone.
Oh man.
Because you know we see the red flags sometimes.
Oh, we ignore them.
You know, but we think we can change it.
You think you can change it, and I think even including myself, a lot of women go into a relationship doing that, especially when you really like somebody. I read somebody saying don't ignore the red flags. Heck, don't ignore the yellow flags, the caution signs.
Cautions.
When you see something, you need to ask about it. You know what I'm saying? And I am very guilty of that. Even now during this process, I ignored my intuition because my thought process was like, well, I'm here. We're supposed to be in an environment where everybody's looking for the same thing. They're looking for commitment. Of course he's going to be here somewhere. I didn't really want to go into believing that I was going to come out and not be what I was hoping or praying it to be, or why I walked into the experience.
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, in every situation, there are lessons. There aren't losses, you know. But I say to women, don't ignore your God-given intuition that's there, you know, because sometimes you may not have the evidence, but there's enough knowing in you and enough experience in you that you like, I don't know about this. And so that's why I asked a lot of questions, and I was very assertive about the questions that I asked.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Let's do this. We have the video of the last part of part of the reunion. Yeah. Right? The last part first.
The love triangle.
The love triangle. Let's see the love triangle.
Cara?
Yes.
You saw AJ struggle to make a decision, and then he ultimately chooses you. I'm lost on what makes you decide to choose yourself. What made you do that?
So when I choose to love a guy, when I tell you I love hard, and with AJ and I, we hadn't spent that much time together. My mind and my heart was focused on Jason. And it wasn't until I saw like, yo, this just not gonna work between the two of us, that I was like, yo, let me open more up towards AJ. And so when I got to the end, I felt like, okay, you like him, but have you really gotten to the space where I know who AJ is? I wanna know that when I say yes to you, ain't no turning back. So before we make that decision, let's give each other some more time to continue to date, get to know each other, and knowing like I choose you, you choose me, there are no questions about it.
Okay, so let me ask this. Y'all left this process.
And we were dating.
Dating.
Yes.
And where are we now? Wow, hush over Jerusalem. Ain't nobody jumping to that one, huh?
I'm still in the same space of where I'm willing to date.
Okay. Kyra, where are you?
So when we left the experience, we continued to date. I did have a trip planned before the show to go out of the country for 2 weeks. I literally made an intention every day to talk to AJ.
So y'all did communicate?
Yes.
You did talk the whole time you were over there for 2 weeks?
Yes,
okay.
Every day. And when I get back from my trip, I get a phone call from Alexis. You want to share what you told me?
No, you finish the story.
Okay. I hear that y'all had gone out on a date, and then they had kind of been kicking it a little bit thereafter.
Now, AJ did not tell me that they were dating. So let me preface this. At the end of the show, Like I said, I left, we weren't talking. So when my birthday came, I DM'd him. And I asked him, I said, AJ, did anything that happened between us, was that real? Did you mean any of it? Right? He responded back and he was like, Alexis, everything that happened between us was real. I felt how I felt about you. So that brought my walls down with him. He was like, but I would love to take you out on a date for your birthday, just you and I. But it wasn't like, okay. So we went on this date. We kissed, we took selfies and pictures.
Y'all kissed?
Yeah, I have the picture.
And let's kiss at the same time that him and Kyra together.
Apparently so.
Oh, if we're dating, then that's what we're doing. If
Okay.
I was in a committed relationship, then no, that would have been improper. That
So
means
your
that-
thing is this is not a commitment anywhere. That's what you're.
Exactly.
If I would have known that they were supposed to be heading into committed relationship, we wouldn't have been kept talking and all that. I wouldn't have accepted a romantic date. I wouldn't have done that. It wasn't made clear to me.
Let me ask you a question. You have entertained both these women for a long time. Hold on. Let me ask you this. Right now, which one of these two ladies are you interested in?
Well, it's not Alexis.
Oh yeah, I know that, and it's not. We agreed. We haven't talked. We don't talk to each other.
Are you interested in Miss Kyra?
Yes. She was gone, and we ended where we didn't end in a relationship. I took that tough. I did. And it was just a thing of where I was battling between the two of them. But I ultimately was willing to make a decision.
And it bothered you that she couldn't reciprocate that and make a decision as well? Well, she made a decision.
She did.
Yeah.
And so she made her decision and then still wanted to hold it on me as though, oh, well, you made your decision, you should still be right where I left you. That's how I took it.
Kyra?
Yes.
After hearing all of this,
Yes.
are you interested in continuing to date AJ? Yes or no?
That's it.
A lot to unpack.
That's a lot to unpack right there, lady.
A lot.
A lot to unpack.
Yeah.
While you're sitting there
Yeah.
and you hear that, I love your response.
Yeah. There's a lot of thoughts running in my head right now. If you heard one thing Kyra said at the beginning, we hadn't spent a lot of time together.
Right.
Which goes back to what I said earlier about the emotional connection between AJ and I was because we did spend a lot of time together. A lot of dates, 8 to 9 dates. I think the total that you all saw were 3. One was the bell tower when we were at the ranch, which I don't even count as a date. So everything in between that was not shown. Seeing that also shows that it goes back to what we said about men, you know, wanting their cake and eating it too. To his point, you know, he left not in a relationship, not in a committed relationship. It was pretty much a continuation of what we were doing with Ready to Love, where I think in his mind, it was okay to date both of us at the same time. You know, she says they were still dating, and you see my facial expression when I'm like, oh, y'all were talking every single day. Because when I left the show and I got eliminated, and I drove all the way, we're actually in Brenham, and I drove from the ranch 90 minutes in the middle of the night all the way back home. He texted me and he was just like, Alexis, I know you don't want to talk to me right now, but I just want to make sure that you made it safely. And I said yes, and that was probably the last time I talked to him for about 3 weeks. And as you're coming off of something like this, when you've had emotions attached to a person, I begin to process, to play back the things that he said to me, you know, on camera and off camera. Did you mean any of that? You know, I became emotional about it because I felt like I really put my heart out to this individual, even though it was a short amount of time. He chose me initially, then he changed his mind and decided to eliminate me. So I needed answers. I needed closure.
Right.
So I reached out to him. Now let me make this clear, because this is all over the internet, that I reached out to him on my exact birthday. No, I didn't. It was my birthday week. Reason being was because when I left, which they edited this out of the show, he asked me before I left the ranch on camera, hey, I know your birthday's coming up. Can I still attend with you? And I said, I don't know about that. Because at that point, I was hurt. I don't want to deal with you right now, right? And so whatever the case, I reached out to him. I DM'd him. As you see, I did not text him because I had just erased everything.
Right.
I was being a woman. I was in my feelings. I was feeling some type of way. I wanted closure. I asked him in the DMs, yes, I did, was any of this real?
Right.
Did you really feel any type of way of what you said to me? Did you really like me? Were you really in this? Was your heart really in this? Did you lead me on? I need to understand this because I was really there.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me, he said, Alexis, no, I really did like you. This is just a TV show. You know, you're a wonderful woman, this, that, and the other. And I really would love to spend some time with you on your birthday. Mm-hmm. And so my guard came down. My heart melted. I would always say to people on the show that he had, I call him charm school. Mm-hmm. Right. He had the ability, because of our emotional connection, when I came in guns blazing, to take me from 10 to 0, right. Where I would be upset about something and he could just grab your hand and talk to you, and he brought me down. And so it was just
because you were attracted to him.
Because I was attracted to him, you know, and I think a lot of women have been in that position before, where you really like somebody, you thought y'all were on one accord, and then it changes. You don't know why, and you want that closure. Mm-hmm. Because was it me just feeling this? Mm-hmm. Was I on my own? That's where I was. And so when he asked to spend time with me, whether I should have, you know, went out with him or not, the bottom line is I did. Mm-hmm. I can own that and accept it, because I thought that was him wanting to try this again, as to say, right? So went on that date with him. It was a lovely date, amazing, as you see me explain about it. And then we went on more dates after that. It was when I received information that he was still in deeper talks, you know, with Kyra, that I called her and said, hey, what's going on here? Are y'all in a committed relationship? Because I've also been on a few dates with him. And that's why I reached out. Yeah, I reached out to her as a woman.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Not because somebody told me and called me and said, hey, I'm giving you this tea. Right. Because I need to find out, woman to woman, what is going on? And then she explained to me. Right. And after she explained it to me, it was done. But I love the
fact that you all explained it in such a way as women.
Yeah. As women.
And you all were protecting each other.
Yep.
She was saying, just when she brought it up, the way she said it, would you like to say it or do you want me to say it?
Exactly.
Because she was owning up, saying, we did speak.
We did speak. Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't all that cat fighting.
It wasn't cat fighting. It wasn't to reach out to you to make you jealous, to make you mad over a man. Since we don't have to do that, and Kyra understands that. That's not what we're doing. We're having. If this is what y'all are doing, I'm letting you know. Hey, this is what has occurred. But you know what? I'm out because we're not doing a continuation of Ready to Love. This is now my real life. Mm-hmm. You know, and now I'm giving you the decision to make whatever decision you guys choose to make. But I'm taking myself out of it. Right. You know, but and
I love that the way you said that and the way you did that. And more women. How do women do that amongst each other? How do they pick up the phone? And how do they call and say, you know what, this is what's happened. Yep. Okay. Yep. I just found this information out. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you know, that's your husband or that's your boyfriend or whatever. I didn't know.
Yep, exactly. But now that I know this information, I'm telling you, because I don't need nobody else come telling you like somebody came to tell me. You see what I'm saying? Because like I said, the stuff that was coming out, of course the man is not going to tell me. Right. You know, he doesn't want me to know that because like he said, he's probably still trying to figure out what he wants to do. Right. But I have to know for myself so I can make the decision of what I want to do.
And we saw in that triangle, that's what was happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
And she even at the end didn't even, he wanted her.
Yeah, he did. He did.
But she was just like,
still trying to make her decision on what she
really
wants to do.
I really don't know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So by him saying, no, I don't want Alexis, I want you. And she's really saying, I don't know that I want you.
Absolutely. And the reason why, you know, he says, I don't want Alexis, yes, because we had already made a decision that we were no longer talking anymore. And we haven't, you know, I'm done with it. I've moved on from it. You know, it is what it is. I experienced what I experienced. Thank you for what I did receive from you during that time. I'm out. Right. And that's okay.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like
so
that.
we had, by the time we got to reunion, AJ and I had not been talking.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm glad we cleared that.
Yeah.
Yes, let's clear that
Please.
up. Yes.
It was over and done with.
Please.
By the time we hit that reunion. Yeah.
We'll be right back on the Cam Hill Show.
The Cam Hill Show after these messages.
Move up at Ron Carter Cadillac. Drive the new 2021 Cadillac XT4 Luxury Collection for only $319 a month. The 2021 Cadillac XT5 Luxury Collection for only $399 a month, both for 39 months lease with just $1 down. Or purchase either and enjoy 1.9% APR for 60 months plus bonus cash. Gulf Freeway, just 2 minutes south of the Beltway.
Shop smarter when you shop Ron Carter. Ron Carter, Cadillac.com.
My prenatal promise is to make sure my baby is safe and healthy, because I know it is possible to acquire syphilis, HIV, or other STDs without knowing it. Getting tested is my very first chance to protect my baby. Doctors are required to give expectant mothers 3 separate tests for syphilis. If you're pregnant, ask your doctor if you're being tested properly for syphilis and other STDs. Congenital syphilis can lead to a miscarriage, stillbirth, or an infant death. Don't risk your baby's health. To find out more, visit myprenatalpromise.com.
Have you heard about Hero Go TV offering free TV?
And now back to the Cam Hill Show.
Hey family, thanks so much for coming back. We're with Miss Alexis Fly Jones. We saw that piece as we were leaving out. We saw the triangle in itself. We saw, I love the way 2 women, grown women, spoke about amongst each other and said, you know what, this was happening and this was happening. This is the reality.
One thing that Ready to Love prides itself on is that it's different from different other reality shows where, you know, it's not catty. We're not here to, you know, throw drinks in your face or to throw punches. They pride themselves on that, not being that type of show. I would have never signed up for a show if that's what it was going to be. And I think that you have to, despite how you feel about things, you have to move in grace and in class. There's been a lot of negative things even said about all of us, for all my castmates, you know, on the internet. And, you know, some people have chosen to go on lives and try to defend themselves and things like that. I've left mine, Cam, to divine defense. Here's the thing. People are going to believe what they believe, you know, based off of the narrative that was presented to them. And I can't spend a lot of time or energy trying to prove what is and what's not. All I can do is prove on how I live my life right now and what you see on opportunities like this, which I'm glad that you have offered this opportunity for me to interview with you. But just to, you know, I just sit back in the cut. I let people say what they want to say, because the thing about it is eventually you'll be able to get to know who truly is Alexis Fly. The heart that I have for people and the love that I pour out, because I do love hard, you know, and when I'm invested in something, I put my all into it. And so I'm just grateful for platforms like this where people get to see the totality of Alexis, not just the feisty side on the show, but there's more sides to me. And so it's really cool to be able to go on platforms to be able to showcase that to the world.
I'm so glad you mentioned that. You are the founder of Dear Black Sun. Why so? Where did that come about?
Dear Black Sun, BLK standing for Black Liberating Kings. Dear Black Sun was born out of, in 2020, when Ahmaud Arbery was murdered. Being a news producer, I always share about, unfortunately, that we're desensitized when we see these stories, because you always hear them often. Our community hears these stories often about Black and Black boys and the social injustice and things like that. But when I heard about Ahmaud Arbery, I was on my Instagram and the video came up where I was like forced to look at it, couldn't take my eyes off of it. And immediately watching it, it literally, Cam, did something to the insides of me as a mother, because I started thinking about, oh my gosh, I'm raising a son. What would I have tried to tell him in that moment? What would I have told him when I started thinking about him turning 15 and 16, getting his permanent license when he gets pulled over, by the police officer. Me already have teaching him that he can't wear a hoodie on his head.
Right.
At that time he was 4 years old when I told him that.
Wow.
And all these things started moving around in my mind. And I said, as a producer, having this platform, I need to do something. What can I do? And so it came to me to get with my sorority sisters, my line sisters, and I created a film within about a week. And initially, we were just going to go out and do a community service event to jog in Ahmaud Arbery's memory, and to jog 2.23 miles. And that's the day that he passed away. And then it was kind of like, nope, you're going to do more than that. You're going to use this gift that I give you, and you're going to send out a message. And so Dear Black Son is a poetic short film about a message or a letter from a black mother to her son on how she hopes that he can be protected, the things that she's concerned about and worried about, and things that she wants him to pay attention to as he navigates in the world. That was actually shown on the CBS network. And I was really proud of that because it was the first film that I executive produced with a small budget and with people who were willing to, really see the vision. From that, I recently got trademarked, and so now we're moving into nonprofit mode where we'll become a 501c3. And my goal is to hopefully create a program and a curriculum. So anybody out there who wants to help me with this, where we can teach young boys and teenagers the importance of their African-American history, because I feel like, being in the state of Texas, you get your Texas history book, and there's just a little section on Black history. And, it's about Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, the things that we all know about. It wasn't until I attended HBCU that I learned really more about my history and how deep our roots are. And I think that needs to start early. So I'm hoping to develop a program and curriculum that will teach young boys that, so that it can prepare them on how to move and understand the king that's in him.
Absolutely.
And so that's what Dear Black Son is. But it's also a visual and performing arts component to it. So artists who are photographers who, paint, they can hit me up. I'm hoping to do an exhibit one day where they can produce their own letter, as to say, or their own message to Black sons, and send that on to me, because we're kind of trying to make a collaboration of it all and make it a part of artistry in the Black community. So,
absolutely. I'm so glad you said that, because as we see it on a daily basis.
This is our lives.
This is our lives.
Yeah. We live this every day.
Every day.
Other cultures don't.
They don't.
They don't have to have conversations with their sons or their daughters about what to do when they get a new vehicle.
Right.
It's just...
Even walking
down the street. And what you have to be wearing when you're walking down the street.
Absolutely.
No hands in your pockets. I mean, there's just so many things that it comes across as unfair, but at the end of the day, it's going to save your life.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Young men are really, and I'm glad you've honed in on that, they need the nurturing too.
Oh, yes. They need to be felt loved by their moms. They need to know that they can cry when it's something to cry about. I tell people all the time, I try to tell moms, there's a difference between whining and crying. But be careful when you tell your son, don't cry.
Right.
Because God gives us tear ducts, and when those tears come out, depression actually literally comes out of your body.
Right.
That's what God put it there for. And so you don't want them to internalize and hold all these things up where they end up becoming explosive because they could not express themselves and their feelings.
That's true.
So I had to learn that too and retrain myself as a parent to do that for my son, so that he won't be fearful to come and talk to me about things that are really on his mind, even at a young age. He's now 6 years old, he has a lot to say and he already has developed opinions. And so I want him to know that he can come to his mom and talk to me about anything, and he doesn't have to be scared, or he doesn't have to be fearful that he's going to be judged by me. He can be free. So.
Because there's so much at school that you have to deal with.
Man, it's the outer influences.
Right.
I can teach him one thing, and hopefully that seed will stick.
Right.
But he's going to be getting stuff from YouTube, from, kids at school, from all kind of places,
Absolutely.
and those are the things that are out of my control. So I can only control the seeds that I plant in my home.
Wow, that is good. What else we have up next? You've got a lot of things happening.
So the other thing is, of course, what I mentioned before. I have my apparel line called Fly, First Love Yourself. Shout out to everybody who has ordered t-shirts. It has been such a blessing, overwhelming, the orders that I've received. So I'm really grateful for that, because I want sisters, mothers, nieces, cousins, for you to be able to walk around empowered, knowing that, hey, I'm flying higher on another level now, and I'm first loving myself. And that's what my platform is about, self-love and empowerment for women.
Absolutely, especially women.
Especially women. Because I'm a woman, so I know about being a woman. I know that the best. So yeah, I want people to really, I meant what I said. When you heard my elimination speech too, that was directly from my heart. And it really was, I have to give it to God, a Holy Spirit moment, because I honestly don't even remember saying those things. I remember the producer said, Alexis, I can relate to you because it's been many moments in relationships that I have ignored the red flags. I've ignored my intuition. And I didn't believe what I was seeing, as to say, I'm not a mother right now. I don't have children. These are all things I want. She said, I want you to speak to that camera and talk to these women and speak to them about having a broken heart and how they can be delivered from that. And so you didn't even get the whole entire speech, but the line that you got, I think, was the most impactful for people, because people who were in my situation can relate to that. And it's not about having low self-esteem or not trying to cover for a lack of confidence. Here's the thing. All women have some form of insecurities, Cam, even men. There may be something on your body you don't like, something about yourself and your career that you think you're not good enough. There's always some insecurity. But this is why I'm big on making sure that we work on affirming ourselves. When I came on that set, yeah, I affirmed myself. I said, hey, Alexis, you all that in a bag of chips. Hey, you are loved. Because if I'm not telling myself that I'm loved and I'm all these things, and then when other people come and then try to badmouth or tell me something I'm not, then I can fall into that and believe that, and then breaks my self-esteem down. You should always, with my son, I have him look in the mirror and I make him say affirmations to himself. I am a king. I am loved by my family. I am loved by God. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. It has nothing to do with being braggadocious. Right. It has to do with seeing yourself, again, the way that God sees you and knowing that you are fearfully and wonderfully made.
I love that. Yeah. Lady, look into the camera, and what would you like to leave with the viewers?
I just want to say to you all, thank you so much for making us the #1 hit show on Friday on OWN with Will Packer. Thank you for just your support, for your love. I appreciate the love and everything else in between it. And I hope that something that I said or did as you watch my journey was beneficial to you. You've learned lessons to live by, things to do, things not to do, And I just thank you so much for the kind words that we've all received for our cast members. And looking forward to seeing you somewhere else. I'll be flying high. Who knows where we're going, but you got to stay tuned.
Sounds good, lady. Thank you for everything you've done. Thank you, viewers, for the Cam Hill Show, 12/31, 30 Central Standard Time. See you then. Bye.